What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? Hyperchaotic here with a K double R, and welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time to my channel. Now, the reason why I'm bringing you this video today is because a lot of people for quite a while have been wondering, where the hell is GTA 6? And while we're still waiting, why the hell hasn't Rockstars brought us any story DLC for GTA 5 or even a map expansion? And I want to be going over my reasons why I believe we did not get any map expansion, story DLC, or why we're not going to get GTA 6 anytime soon. A lot of this is going to be coming from the research I've done, primarily from watching videos from two creators by the name of Dark Space and The Professional, because these are two creators who have, for I would say over 2-3 years now, maybe longer, who have been covering GTA Online extensively, and in the case of Professional, Red Dead Redemption as well, which, by the way, I'm even going to go over Red Dead Redemption Online a little bit in this video as well. And I'm also going to be bringing up the GTA Trilogy. Now, before we get into the video, I want to first start off by saying, if you end up enjoying this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me in the future. Commentaries, or I guess in this case video essays, are not my primary thing. I did start off this way, but they're not my primary thing. They're a side thing I'll do on the channel every now and then, whenever I feel like talking about something or going over a certain subject. But I do have other content that I will be doing, such as gaming content, collectible content. I'll explain what that is in a sec. And smoke content for the smokers out there. I mean, if you're not a smoker, you can still watch if you want to. But I mean, if you're really not interested in these products, you probably won't care to watch. Unless you want to learn a thing or two about smokers, which in that case, feel free to watch and ask some questions as a non-smoker. I'm not going to be here to bring you to the side of a smoker, but if you got some questions, who better to ask about being a smoker than a smoker? Anyway, so Mondays and Fridays, yes, I got a schedule. No, I would not have a video every day. If I happen to have a video ready, these are the days they're going to be uploaded. With the exception of video essays and commentaries, I will upload those whenever the fuck I feel like it. But on Mondays and Fridays, I will be having gaming contents. Primarily playthroughs, every now and then maybe just like fun edited gameplay, quick or best moments. Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's when we'll have the smoke contents, which I will be calling my series The Dank Hill, the show where I review cannabis and cannabis accessories, cannabis and nicotine products. I currently have episodes on the channel right now, but do be advised, I am having issues with YouTube censorship with some episodes. So if there's an episode that seems to be missing from the roster of episodes, I'm actually making sure to label them episode 9, 10, 11, or whatever. That's because YouTube's being a bitch about it. So if there's a specific episode you'd be curious to check out, you're going to have to hop on over to my BitChute channel, which, for those watching on BitChute, thank you so much and welcome. Yes, I'm uploading this video on both platforms. And anybody else on any other platform I end up uploading this on in the future, because YouTube's becoming more and more unstable, and TikTok ain't no better. But, if anybody's watching there, if I end up uploading this there at all, thank you. So Thank you will be Thursdays and Fridays. Sorry, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm already fucking it up. Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Wednesdays will be collectibles content, which literally means anything that can be collected or sold and traded as collectible. Trading cards, dying media like VHS tapes, comic books, currency, which is the primary thing we're going to be looking at, and so much more. Whatever I could pretty much get my hands on. Primarily currency and VHS tapes, because that's the main thing I got my hands on. Anyways, that is my schedule. With that said, we're going to go ahead and... With that said, we're going to go ahead and move on with the video. So again, if at any time you think you might be interested in this content, I should have some up on the channel already. Go ahead and check out and maybe subscribe. And of course, again, leave a like on the video. One last reminder if you end up enjoying it. And if not, please leave a dislike. I have no problem with dislikes and maybe a comment telling me why. Any interaction is good interaction for my channel in the algorithm. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I get right into it, I just want to do a quick generalized overview of the contents of this video. Now, if you just want to get straight into it, I will have timestamp links down below in the description. And I am going to be going into a lot into this video, so I definitely recommend you pay attention. Sorry that I just bumped into something. I'm in a small closet recording. Anyways, so right after the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to go into the general status of GTA Online and do a lot of comparisons between GTA and Red Dead Online, since in so many ways they are very, very similar, to the point where Red Dead really is just the Wild Wild West version of GTA, you know, with cowboys, even though GTA Online in of itself already is kind of the Wild Wild West, if you catch my drift. As well as its general status with refractivity on both games. And of course, I cannot forget to mention the economy and how that all connects with the griefers, and of course, shark cards and gold bars. Right after that, I will be going into the neglect of RDR Online for GTA Online, and how Rockstars has a reason for why it's neglecting RDR Online. I'm pretty sure you already have an idea why. Cha-ching, baby. Cha-ching. And of course, right before I get right into my conclusion, I'm going to be going over the GTA Definitive Edition Trilogy. Switched words around. Anyways. And of course, the situation with Rockstars, DMCA, or outright suing modders and treating them like they're a detriment to the whole company. Oh, and by the way, did you know they're actually suing the devs of It Takes Two just because they have the title It Takes Two? Apparently Take-Two is getting very, very copyright strike and trigger happy, you know, with lawsuits. Yeah, these motherfuckers are getting very crazy. I don't understand what's going on with them. Well, let's go ahead and get into the video now. Now, back when GTA 5 dropped in a few weeks later, after it dropped actually, people already started talking about GTA 6 and what Rockstars has in store for us in the future. And many YouTubers at the time were saying, you know, oh, if a dev studios has a sequel planned for the future, they get working on it as soon as they release the game they were working on. And 2 generations later, we're still wondering where the hell is GTA 6? And why the hell we haven't gotten story DLC? Well, what the hell were they doing in all that time? Well, for starters, obviously we know at the time they were working on, and to this day still are, working on GTA Online. And say what you say about the content, whether you like it or hate it, for whatever reason, they've been adding lots of content over the years. Weapons, customizations, clothes, cars, and all types of vehicles. Weapon upgrades beyond what you can get at an ammunition, and just so much more. GTA Online is just beyond what it was back when it first started. It's just like, man, it's not the same game anymore. It's not really much Grand Theft Auto anymore either. It's like, well, if GTA was ever a spy genre with supervillains, aka the griefers, I mean, tell me I'm wrong. They're constantly ruining people's days just because they want to just rule the map and cause chaos for everybody. They always got the most upgraded and expensive hardware. They hang out on a fucking dark yacht. I mean, tell me griefers aren't basically just super villains. That's what it is. It's like super agent versus super villains, even though you're technically criminals. I mean, I don't know, it's complicated. But we know how the situation is with the content. Like it or hate it, there is a lot of content. And even beyond the fact that they were still working on GTA Online, they were working on Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. A whole story mode, new map, or I think new map, right? Or was it I don't know. New world, just a lot more stuff to do, new characters to meet. And of course, they eventually ended up making online as well for that game. So that was a lot of shit they were working on. And in between, they also ended up coming out with mobile ports of the original trilogy, which were actually mostly done by Grove Street Studios, if my memory is correct. And the console ports, or should I say mobile console ports, because they were literally just the mobile versions ported to console. And of course, we already know about the definitive edition, but we'll get more into that in a bit. And even though, again, that was probably also done by Grove Street, that's a lot of shit they were working on over the years. And what else? On top of that, this isn't uncommon when it comes to parent companies of a studio, where if they have other projects, maybe even being done by other studios, they may take some manpower and resources from another studio they own and put it all into that other project. I mean, hell, let's look at Activision, for example, with Call of Duty. The main guys we usually know of making Call of Duty, Sledgehammers, Infinity War, and Treyarch. But every now and then they'll have Raven Studios help out. In the past, when it came to other console ports, they actually had Rebellion Studios help in the past. So they've had plenty of studios help in the past before. So it wouldn't be uncommon to say that maybe 2K, that's 2K Entertainment, right? That's the name of the parent company. I honestly sometimes forget Rockstars even has a parent company. But whatever other, studios they may have, it wouldn't be uncommon for maybe, them to take some resources from Rockstars and put it into another project that they have coming out. So that would definitely slow the progression of GTA 6. A whole new game, 2 online services, mobile ports, and a mobile console port, even though that was kind of mostly done by another studio, and then possibly having resources managed somewhere else. That is a lot of shit they were working on over the years. And again, love or hate the content, and whatever your criticisms may be, valid or not, you can't deny the fact they have been working on a lot of shit over the years. However, that is where the benefits of the doubts end. And we get into the whole situation with GTA Online's increase in griefer activity. Why they haven't brought back solo lobbies. And why the hell do so many people think Rockstars is fucking broke? Like they haven't been making billions of dollars a year off of shark cards alone. Never mind the money they've been making still selling the game over the years. Never mind the money they made from Red Dead Redemption, both selling the game and whatever they made online. Never mind the money they made on the mobile ports and the console mobile ports, whether people actually bought them or just got them on the Xbox Pass. You got this whole fucking fat ass payday with chump change on top of chump change, with another fat ass payday and still some chump change. And let's not forget, again, the GTA Trilogy. They definitely made some money on that. Pissed a lot of people off to the point where they want a refund. And they really don't want to give up that money. But we can't sit here and act like they're fucking broke. They're not. If they did, they wouldn't still own so many studios in other countries. With so many people on their staff. While also hiring other fucking studios. But y'all think they're fucking broke and need more money, which is why we need to buy more shark cards and gold bars? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, griefers and even some grinders out there think that Rockstars is so fucking broke that the only way we could possibly support them and get some story DLC is if we buy more shark cards and gold bars in the case of RDR. Again, can you believe that shit? Can you lick the boot even harder? Now, what does that have to do with the fact that we don't have any solo lobbies? Well, first of all, come on, think about it. Now, first of all, what's the one thing griefers constantly say when you're just, you ask them, hey man, what the hell, why are you fucking with me? Do you really have fun just fucking wasting your time fucking with people all day? And what do they usually tell you? Hey man, it's part of the game. PvP, man. It's just part of the PvP. You don't like it, don't play the game. No, man, you're just being an asshole. You're just being an asshole, man. Yes, they are being an asshole, but they're not wrong. That is part of the game. I mean, come on, look back at when you first signed up for the game, or even the last time you've made a second character, because I forgot you can actually make another character. Why the fuck you would want to start from the bottom again is beyond me. I mean, you must be a full-blown fucking masochist to start this game all over again. I will stare myself in the mirror later. Anyway, point being, look back at when we first started the game. What is the very first thing the game told you once you got onto the lobby? Hey, there are going to be people on the map doing jobs, missions, activities for their businesses, collecting cargo. What happens when you collect cargo, ladies and gentlemen? You have a global signature on your map with a nice, bright little red crimson box for all the griefers to see. And they do make some money in RP or XP technically from fucking your whole day up and making sure you don't get your cargo. Not to mention that adds to their KD. Like that fucking matters. This is not Call of Duty, but whatever. No, they don't make a lot of money as they would just playing an actual mission or a heist, which you can't even play a heist until you unlock it first. But regardless, even then, let's say they do have the heist unlocked. Why don't they just go play the heist? Well, I mean, to each their own. If they genuinely enjoy just fucking with people, or maybe they actually find it a bit more of a challenge once they actually get somebody to, fight back. It is part of the game. The game does allow it. It tells you to do so, to earn money and reward. And honestly, I've been there before. I've had my bad. Now, granted, griefers are full. GTA's griefers, they're full-time griefers. But I've had my bad days where I just, you know what? I think I'm just going to fuck somebody's day up and have a laugh. And Rockstars actively applauds it. You know why? Because if you do not make your money, eventually you'll get frustrated and say, fuck it, I'll buy a shark card and gold bars. And you might say, no, I'll just do my little tricks to hop into a solo lobby. Recently, I forget what was it, changing the NAT settings or something. That was fixed by Rockstars on Xbox, and supposedly there's going to be a patch for it on PlayStation if there wasn't already a patch by now. And I'm pretty sure they're still working on one for GTA 5 now. Granted, I mean on PC. Now, granted, when it comes to PC, you know, it's PC, it's open software, it's open source and everything. They'll have their ways around it. But for the rest of us, we're going to be shit out of luck. Yeah. But why do you think they don't want you to hop into a solo lobby anymore? Why do you think they let the griefers fuck with you? Because you don't make no money. And you'll eventually get frustrated and buy a shark card. Or in the case of RDR, a gold bar. Especially since griefers in Red Dead Redemption have to look for you. Because your blip, for those who haven't been playing Red Dead Online, your blip isn't constant on the map. Nobody's blip is going to pop up until you actually are near them in the same area, same vicinity as them. So when griefers want you, they have to find you first. And the second they find you, they will not let you go. They are fucking relentless.
Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here, and today I want to talk about a topic that came across my mind, and I didn't see really many people talking about it. I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Online recently in my spare time, trying to figure out the best ways to make money, and I noticed how much harder they made griefing in that game. Griefing is nowhere near as bad as when the game first launched. You were able to see everyone on the map back then. Now you can't see people on the map unless they get close to you. However, if a griefer goes around killing people, they will appear red on everyone's map, and they will know their location. There is also the new defensive mode, where if you get attacked, you can enable this, and then both you and the enemy can only fight in free aim. Additionally, they changed the bounty system. If you start killing other players, you get a bounty, and you don't get a bounty for defending yourself. It's to encourage people to stop killing other players. They have also taken out daily challenges that involve killing players in free mode. Rockstars increased the timer on when missions will appear for other people, and they have also made it to where if you get shot and die, you don't lose the pelts on your horse or the carcass. That used to be annoying back in the day. That was a major problem.
Now, because they have to go through all that punishment just to get to your ass, they are relentless. And when they manage to lasso you up and tie you up and get you on that horse, on their horse, they will not let you go. And just to add salt on the open wound, they're gonna fucking shoot down your horse. And your horse is not gonna spawn for like, I don't know. I honestly don't know how long it takes for the horse to respond. I just try to avoid killing my horse as much as possible. Period. Just, I die, not my horse. If a griefer gets me, you know what I do? I just load up a new lobby. Because of the fact that the griefers in RDR Online are so fucking relentless, there's no point in fighting against them. I mean, you could try if you got the proper equipment, but if you're a new player or a lower level player, you're most likely not going to have the equipment to fight against the griefers. So there really isn't any point to trying. Just load up a new lobby. And don't cause any more frustration to yourself. Because they will not let you go. And I don't know if they've tested this with their buddies or with they figured this out with their past victims. But they know down to the millisecond how long it takes for you to untie yourself. So if they're taking you out to the middle of bumfuck nowhere, or into the middle of the woods to fuck with you, or wants to dangle you over a cliff just because, they will take the time to stop, take you off the horse, wait for you to untie yourself, then as soon as you're about to get up, they take out their lasso, slam you to the ground, and tie your ass back up again, and back on the horse you go. Or if they really feel like it, like I said, if they take one to the middle of the woods, they're just going to sit there and fuck with you. Maybe do a little bit of, well, nothing. Followed by then play some target practice. Oops, I missed. Oops, I missed. Am I going to hit you? Oops, I missed. Oh, I got your legs. Oops, I missed. Let me take a break. Oh, you're about to untie yourself. Slam. Back to the ground, tied up. Picks up his knife. Think, 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 think. I'm about to make a snowman with knives out of you. Think, think. Like, they're just gonna waste your fucking time. If you will actually take the time to even try to fight them back, well, you can't. So they're gonna do everything just to waste their time, even if that means literally doing nothing to you at all. So you just do yourself a favor and load up a new match. However, and I'm actually going to give Rockstars another benefit of the doubt. Compared to GTA Online, they have done such a fantastic job. The anti-griefing system in RDR Online is just done so well that the game truly is an anti-griefer paradise. Now, there still are griefers in the game. They're not all completely gone, but they're so few and far in between. And like I said, it's very hard for them to find you. It's very hard for you to run into them. I mean, it's just very hard for people to run into each other on the RDR map in general. Apart from the fact that it's very large, I think it's actually bigger than even all of the GTA maps, if my memory is correct. But even just with the regular players, you can have a full lobby. It's very hard to run into other people if you want to purposely look for them or just even roaming the map. You can run into anywhere from 1 to 3 people, talking from my experience, unless you just happen to run into a posse in free roam, which for me personally is very, 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 very rare. But even with the full lobby, it's just kind of hard to just run into people in general, let alone a griefer. And although I still stand by what I said about the griefers being fucking relentless and fucking annoying, that's when you actually run into them and get caught. So either don't get caught, or just, if you do, that's it. Just go into another lobby. You're not going to win. You're going to end up just entertaining them, and you're going to waste your time. So don't even give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't even give them the opportunity to enjoy fucking with you. Just leave. Because unless you got the proper toys, you can't fight back. And that's assuming your ass can even get up. But that's if you run into them. It's very hard for you to run into them. And it's very hard for them to fuck with you as long as you're in defensive mode. So you're really all good. In fact, the anti-griefing system takes care of the griefers. Just the whole griefing issue in RDR Online, it takes care of it so well. You don't need solo lobbies in RDR Online. There's really no point into adding a solo lobby in RDR Online, because they can't really fuck with you that much. You don't really need it. You can just roam around and do whatever you want. And honestly, most of the time, and this is me after me picking it up again recently, just free roaming. I forget that I'm playing an online multiplayer. In fact, the only times when I remember is when I keep going to pause the game to either sip a cup of coffee, grab a cigarette, or go take a piss. And I come back and go, why is my character still moving? Oh, that's right. This is online, not the campaign. I barely run into any players at all. Just regular, calm by their own self, doing their own thing players. Just the regular casual players. They're just, them alone are so hard to run into. You forget you're even playing a multiplayer game. In fact, I would say most of the time it feels like you are in a solo lobby. So really adding them to RDR Online wouldn't even be necessary. You don't need it. In GTA, you do. because the griefing situation is just that bad. But then you may ask, well, why don't they just implement the anti-griefing system that they have in Red Dead Online into GTA Online? Because that would completely kill their main money maker. Can't you see that? In RDR Online, they can't let the griefers really fuck with people that much like they do in GTA Online. Because if they push too hard, people are just going to sign off the game for good and continue to play the campaign, and that's it. They can't make more money off of you on the campaign. And on top of that, if you really look at RDR Online recently, like some strategy videos and whatnot, it's a lot easier to grind for all the stuff in this game than it is in GTA Online. Partially because there ain't a lot of stuff to go for. But even then, it's just... You can... For lack of a better way to describe it, you can actually just play the fucking game. And enjoy yourself at the same time. It's almost like enjoying the game that you're playing is the whole purpose, and it's not like having your cake and eating it too. Because that's literally the whole point of having your cake, is to eat it, and then it will be gone. You will have your fun, then you will be tired. But you can always come back later when you want more fun. Like, you can always get another cake. It's not too much to ask to have fun with the game you're playing, since, you know, fun is literally the whole fucking point.
And lastly, they added defensive mode, which is a new way to counter griefers. You could go into defensive mode, which would put the griefers into free aim if they tried to shoot you. You would also be in free aim, and you took more damage, giving you a chance to get away. You could also parlay them, which didn't let them kill you for 10 minutes, and you could still do most of the activities in the game. This was far better than passive mode in GTA Online, where you couldn't do anything in passive mode, not even use guns and NPCs. The reason the griefing dropped so much in Red Dead Online is because of actual improvements. GTA Online players, they'll tell you the reason that griefing is less in Red Dead Online is because it doesn't have weaponized vehicles. Sure, it's a little harder to grief that they don't have weaponized vehicles in Red Dead Online, but it's not that. The real reason, and the main reason, is because Rockstar took steps to actually address griefing in Red Dead Online, and they did nothing to counter it in GTA Online. Even on my streams, I have had people join to try to kill me. I would instantly parlay them, then they couldn't kill me for another 10 minutes, and because the griefers were so impatient, they would leave and rejoin to try to get around the timer for me just to parlay them again. They would get really angry and just eventually give up. I even had a griefer once message me, "Stop parlaying me, you blank." I think you guys know what he said. The fact that he sent me a pretty vulgar message shows that it got to him, and that these anti-griefing measures were working. Red Dead Online handled it much better than GTA Online.
But that doesn't really explain why they can't implement that into GTA Online. Okay, so they don't push too hard on the players on RDR Online. But what about GTA Online? They push so hard on them. Yes, but unlike RDR, it's even harder to grind on that game, especially since the griefers can still fuck with you. Meaning, there's more likely a chance you're going to buy a shark card in GTA than you're going to buy a gold bar in Red Dead Online.
Red Dead Online handled it much better than GTA Online. Don't let the GTA Online players tell you that's mainly because of weaponized vehicles. Yes, the Oppressor Mark II is annoying, but at least in Red Dead Online, you have ways to actually counter the griefers, where in GTA Online, you barely have anything to stop them.
It's all about the money. They're not making as much money on gold bars as they are on shark cards. And they can't allow the griefers to push the people that do remain online too hard, or they probably won't make money on shark cards at all. They might as well make something off of it and still have online continuing on with whoever still plays, rather than get nothing out of it at all. Well, because the main tools that they use in one game doesn't really work too well in the other. And a lot of that does have to do with the lack of content in Red Dead Online. Primarily the lack of, well, special toys for the griefers. Not the regular casual player. The griefers. I mean, why do you think they're reusing story DLC assets? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally at the point where we can get into the lack of content in RDR Online and how Rockstars actually has a reason behind its neglect for RDR Online in favor of GTA Online. And I just pretty much already said that. The reason why. GTA is their biggest moneymaker. Shark cards.
I don't really know what else I can do, but for GTA Online getting all the attention, Rockstar constantly milking this game, I'm glad I really don't cover it that much anymore, but I've never really seen a developer this greedy. It's over. Red Dead Online's finished. This is the final nail in the coffin. This is one of the worst cases of corporate greed. After Rockstar said in an interview years before they have big plans for Red Dead Online and they want to add more roles, well, the last time you added a new role was a year and a half ago. You never finished the Leclerc storyline, ditching it. You never added player housing or actual robberies, even though this is an outlaw game. You never added any new customizable wagons. We have players being multi-millionaires stuck in this camp in the wilderness. But when did Rockstar officially kill Red Dead Online? When did it happen? I think the date was December 2019. Right after Moonshiners. If you look at Take-Two's interactive stock prices and earnings growth, that's the Rockstar Games publisher. It has been constantly growing, and we know how much of a greedy company Take-Two is. I don't have proof for this next claim, but here's what I think happened. The Casino Heist was the most popular GTA Online update in years, before Cayo Perico. That DLC got so many people on GTA Online back, and people started buying shark cards in mass droves. While we don't know the exact number, I can tell you that way more people were buying shark cards than gold bars. It's no brainer. Take-Two Interactive saw that and probably told Rockstar, we want you to just mainly focus on just GTA Online, even though GTA Online is 5 years older than Red Dead Online. The Naturalist may have been part of a larger update, and Rockstar had to downsize it just one role when it might have had more roles because of this reason. Take-Two saw the success of the Casino Heist and said, we want you to make this bigger again. Here comes Cayo Perico. Even the devs at Rockstar that wanted to do Red Dead Online may have been powerless. Rockstar has lost developers like Leslie Benzies, Dan Houser, and Laszlo, all for various reasons. But I wonder if there was something else going on behind the scenes where corporate greed may have played a factor in why they left. Not necessarily just about Red Dead Online, but just corporate greed in general, and the fact that they're just not the same company that they used to be.
By the lack of content, I don't just mean equipment and customizations, but jobs, missions, and plenty of other activities as well. There's so much stuff to try, so much to do within GTA Online. There's so much to unlock. There's always something new to earn. In Red Dead, there's really not too much. Guns, horses, that's it. I mean, there's also customization, aka clothes, and customizing your guns, of course. But that's assuming you even feel like going for all the guns or having all the horses. And, I mean, once you customize your gun, that's it. Your guns are going to be in the set customization you want them. You're not really going to play around with that too often until you decide to get a new gun. And again, that's assuming you even want a new gun. You could also customize your camp, but, I mean, has anybody ever seen the customizations for the camp? They're fucking garbage. I'm sorry, not just garbage. They're garbage. They are trashy. They just awful. Why even waste your money on any of those customizations? Let alone changing the clothes on that one motherfucker who never leaves the camp. Hey guys, after the chaotic here, and just recently double checked again, and it turns out that they just recently added some better customizations for the camp in the game. And I gotta say, after checking them out, these are actually much better options. And my point still stands that the other options were absolutely fucking dog shit. Why they were even options at all, I don't even know. Who the fuck was wasting their money on that shit? Or trying to even take the time to unlock that? But nevertheless, gotta give credit where credit is due. Rockstars did add some better customization options for the camp. I'm still gonna barely ever visit the camp myself personally, but if I ever did change my mind and wanted to start upgrading my camp and started visiting it more, or made it closer to Valentine's, because let's be honest, more people are around that time more than anything, then I probably would take the time to customize it so I have something nice to look at. So good job, Rockstars. I still don't think those shitty ass options should have been there to begin with. There still should have been content to spend my money on to begin with, but hey, whatever. Just wanted to clear that up, since it is taking me a while to edit this, and by the time it's out, well, most people will already know we have more customizations by now. And then you got just, well, missions, which is primarily just doing the exact same Capitale missions over and over again, just given to you by a different person depending on where you are on the map. Never mind the stranger missions. Not really too many more story missions. And to be honest, most of the complaints for the lack of content in RDR Online is primarily actually coming from most of the players, the higher level players, who have already been on the game for quite a while. This is not coming from newer players. This is not coming from lower level players. I mean, hell, I myself am still a lower level player. I personally still have a lot of shit to go for in RDR Online. But even then, once I eventually get to that point, which I will, because it's much easier to grind in that game than it is in Rockstar, there's not a lot of stuff to go for.
You will see people constantly trying to argue in favor of GTA Online, saying it's a business perspective, and we shouldn't get angry because GTA Online makes more money for Rockstar. That's why Rockstar focuses on GTA Online and not on Red Dead Online. Red Dead Online could make them money if they actually put work into it and made decent updates. If they made large updates with lots of things to buy, then yes, people would buy gold bars as well. Not everyone, obviously, but they would sell a lot more. And on top of that, the last update, Blood Money, was focused on new players. Rockstar is trying to squeeze money out of new players, but is giving veteran players nothing to play with or buy in the game. That's their target audience, new players. Screw all the people who played since day one, right? Even the event month says it. These are great bonuses, and if you're a new player, go ahead and play them. You can get a lot of money fast, don't get me wrong, but for me it's useless, as I have so much money already. Also, there are some players that have over $1 million in this game, and nothing to spend money on.
And a lot of people have been saying, well, if you have all this money to spend, and again, this is primarily coming from the higher players who have been around for a while. They already have a shit ton of money, alright? People are saying, well, why don't you just go around and spend your money and buy the shit in the game? Again, that's assuming they even want all the guns, because you don't really need all the guns. You just need to get the guns you really need, and that's it for missions and whatnot. I mean, once you unlock the ability and get the recipe, of course, crafting different types of ammo is definitely helpful. But with the exception of high velocity ammo, you can't buy that. You gotta craft that. And that's after you unlock it. That's after you get the recipe. You have to craft that. You can't buy the other types of ammo. Again, with the exception of high velocity ammo. And, well, you're always going to be stocking up on ammo. There's no question about that. You're always going to have to stock up on ammo. But not everybody's going to want every gun in the game. I don't give a fuck about getting every gun in the game. I really don't. In campaign, sure. In online, nah, I don't care. Not even in GTA Online do people use every single gun in the game. Nor do they buy every gun in the game anymore, because there's no point. There's really no point to it. You might as well just get the best gun, give it all its customizations, and that's it. You really just need to use the guns that are the best. You don't need other guns. And there's kind of the same thing for the horses too. Get yourself the best, fastest horse. You really don't need any other horse. I mean, some people might get a second or a third horse just in case, primarily just in case their horse dies, or I guess if they do want to switch a horse or two around, but they're not going to get every horse in the game. You don't need every horse in the game. Just get yourself the fastest horse. Get yourself a couple of extra just in case that one fucking dies in the middle of whatever happens. And you have one of them come on over when you need them, and that's really it. Customize them and that's it. Okay, well, clothes. People find their favorite selected outfit or outfits, and that's it. People very rarely ever diverge from their customized outfits. Unless they really, really want to. And even then, this is also assuming they don't already have everything in the game. Because like I said, these complaints are coming from the higher level players who have already been here a while and who most likely already have every single thing in the motherfucking game. And on top of that, when it comes to more jobs and just activities to do, people constantly say, oh, just play the Pelt to Moonshiner mission. Again, they've already been here a while. This is not coming from lower levels such as myself. I can't even play the fucking Moonshiner or the Pelt collecting mission or whatever the fuck it's called yet, because I haven't unlocked it yet. For the people who do have it unlocked, well, they've been playing that fucking game. They want something new to do. They're bored. What the fuck is playing something they've already done 1,000 times gonna do for them? What the fuck is buying more bullshit that they're probably never gonna use in the game gonna do for them? Especially, again, like I said, assuming they don't already have every single thing in the game. Which if they do, what the fuck are they gonna buy? Like, what are they gonna buy? They already have everything. Maybe they placed a camp in every single part of the map. They've already customized every single thing. They bought everything in the game. What are they gonna buy? They already got it in everything. What are they gonna buy? Because of the fact that you can literally easily get everything in the game that you want, there's no need to buy gold bars at all. I mean, there are probably people who don't care to grind that hard and still buy gold bars for the conveniency of it, but if you really wanted to, you could earn any. If you really wanted to, you could just earn everything in the game. There's no situation where you would really be pushed into buying a gold bar like you would in GTA. Because there isn't a lot of shit to buy. There isn't a lot of shit to do. And once you get everything in the game, or get everything you want in the game, because you might not necessarily want every fucking thing in the game, there's no point in buying a gold bar because you're not going to have anything to buy in the first place. Whether you bought that money or you earned that money. There's nothing to spend it on, so what's the point? They're neglecting RDR Online in favor of GTA Online because they can add more shit. Especially new toys that the griefers can use to fuck with you. The Oppressor Mark II. The orbital cannon in the submarine. After fucking with you, they can hide out on their yacht, which has an anti-aircraft system. Never mind the fact that they can ban you from even stepping on it to fucking assassinate them. Let's see. So many motherfuckers who are so good at the Razor and actually own it, as well as many other fucking planes or choppers in the game. Like the fucking Warthog. They added that shit in the game. Tanks. I mean, it would be cool in RDR Online if they would add it to where you can get a wagon and added a turret onto it. Now, the way Rockstars could implement this is after you go to the horse stables and buy yourself a wagon, you can just go to the gun store, the gunsmith, whatever, and just order yourself a machine gun. Maybe it'll be a special weapon right after the rifles or something. I don't know. But literally just go to the gun shop, park in the right spot so the game understands, oh, you got your wagon. buy your machine gun, and then it just spawns into the back of the wagon. Now, what would be the point of this? What would it be used for, other than just roaming around the map and blasting motherfuckers? It could act just like that one turret truck from GTA, except you specifically use it for robbing banks or any other mission where you gotta collect shit. Just throw shit in the wagon. If you're with your posse, somebody drives, you shoot, or vice versa. If they actually even had bank robberies in the game. I mean, tell me that wouldn't be an interesting idea. And a lot of people keep saying, what can they possibly add into a Wild West game? Which, if you're saying that question with a serious face, you're dumb. You're what do you mean they could? What could they possibly? There is so much they could possibly add. Hell, I just told you, bank robberies. They don't have them. A machine gun turret for your wagon, which you cannot get as of right now. Who knows in the future? Maybe. But now, no, you can't. And you know what? I could probably come up with a long list myself. But you're honestly better off watching a video by the professional, because he's went over quite a few things and has explained it way better how it could be implemented into Red Dead Online better than I can. However, Rockstars is not going to do that. They could totally add this content within the game, no problem. They really could. It's not an issue of money. It's not. They don't want to because there's no special toys for the griefers, because they can't push people into buying more gold bars like they do shark cards without pushing people off the game. Which, they don't even need to do all that. They would still make their money one way or another if they just added shit in the game. I mean, hell, whether you're pushed or not, there's some people out there who buy shark cards and maybe gold bars out of convenience because they don't care to grind through all that.
Stop looking at games as individual products that live in a vacuum and start looking at them as part of a complex corporate portfolio. As when you do this, why things are the way they are will all start to make sense.
Now, before we go any further, let's actually really quickly go over the type of people playing this game who are buying shark cards and gold bars, and why they're buying shark cards and gold bars, besides the specific fact of conveniency. But what is their reason for it being so convenient? Just because they don't want to grind? Is that the only reason? Now let's go over the newbies, and I'm actually going to start off a little bit with my experience from being a newbie. Now, I'm not exactly sure where on the scale between new player to veteran player where I will land on that scale, but for the most part in GTA, I'm definitely not a newbie, so I'm not sure what the case is for Red Dead. But in GTA, back when it first dropped, GTA Online, when it first dropped, when I was a newbie to that game, there wasn't really much to that game at all. Pretty much the same happened to Red Dead Online. However, with Red Dead, I didn't come until a little bit later, when I actually had more shit to the game. Whereas Red Dead, well, I played to a certain level. I don't remember what level I abandoned the game on, but I played to a certain level and just pretty much abandoned the game up until like literally a year ago, or actually a bit year and a half maybe. I don't remember exactly, but I abandoned the game again, and abandoned it around level 70, 80, I don't remember exactly. But for the most part, with all the new shit that had just been added over the years recently, let's just say there was a lot of stuff to go for. And I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of eager to try it again. Like, okay, well, I've been watching a ton of videos about situation with the griefers. You know, quite a few guides here and there. Just gotta follow them to a teeth, and well, mostly to a teeth. Some of them said, you know, get your business in the city since that's where most of your deliveries are going to be. I'm like, I'm going to be blown up before I can even get on the damn bike. What are you talking about? It'd be best to have all my shit out in the fucking desert where barely anybody goes. Is it going to be a long drive? Sure, but, I mean, shit. They couldn't blow me up the second I came the fuck out. I know some people say, oh, the whole point of doing it closer is there and back, but yeah, no, the city was a danger zone, so I just stayed away from the city. But there was a lot of shit I really wanted to try, really wanted to get. However, due to the griefers, I just quit. But let's say if I wasn't stubborn on buying shark cards. Let's say I didn't give a fuck about spending money. Would I have bought a shark card to get anything in the game? Well, I mean, sure, why not? If you get the right equipment, then you can just go ahead and grind the game still. Like I said, for some grinders, they'll grind it halfway and pay for the rest. Or sometimes what they'll do is they'll just, I guess for lack of a better way to describe it, get a shark card to invest in the game, like a specific piece of equipment to help them actually, well, finish their jobs. For example, a lot of people have been recently picking up more cargo. You know, when you can just pick it up as a character, you don't need a specific vehicle. People have been driving the Terabyte more. Now, sure, it's slow, but it can take a lot of damage. So when the motherfuckers come at them with the oppressor, it's just, well, you're going to be here for a while. You're going to have to eventually go back and reload. So hopefully that gives me the chance to move forward and get to my location, my objective. And not to mention there's a flare gun. So you got the little trick of just, you know, guide the heat-seeking missile somewhere else if you're lucky enough to fire in time. But you have ways. You have strategies out there to do. And equipment that, if you're clever enough, you can use to counter the griefers. You still got to unlock them first, though, and get all the money. So again, if I didn't mind, the level part wouldn't have been an issue. You know, just go play some regular stuff, and even then, like I said, most shit you do around the map, you're probably going to get some sort of XP for it. So leveling up wouldn't have been an issue. Besides the Terabyte and the flare gun, I can think of a few other things that, if I wanted to say fuck it and invest into the game, again, for lack of a better way to describe it, invest in my quote-unquote fun, then it wouldn't be a bad idea. Again, you just need to know specifically what you need to go for, what you want or need, I guess, whether it be for specific jobs or you have a specific strategy. So you would need said equipment for said strategy, because again, I just mentioned, you know, Terabyte, grab your cargo. If you could just pick it up and don't need to get a special vehicle that the cargo's in, Terabyte could take a lot of damage. Flare gun, direct that shit, waste all their fucking rockets when they have to reload. Fucking pedal to the metal. So there are ways. If I wanted to say fuck it, I would. But I won't, because that's exactly what they want. And I'm not going to give in to their bullshit. And the same thing kind of for Red Dead. Again, there ain't really too much to go for Red Dead. So if you wanted to save, fuck it, I'll throw some money just to get what I want, you know, why not? Or again, like an investment for the fun. You want to get a specific, unlock one of the roles. They cost 15 gold bars each. Or maybe you want them all. I mean, most people don't really want the naturalist, but let's say you want them all. So you buy some gold bars, and now you unlocked all the roles, and you have more stuff to do, and you can unlock more stuff and get more money. If that is your choice, that is your choice. Newbies might be more incentivized to buy more stuff if there's already stuff in the game to earn. Very early in the game, they're more likely to leave. I mean, back with GTA, I left. With Red Dead, I never even came to begin with. I didn't start playing on Red Dead Online until a year ago. Then I stopped playing again, just like with GTA, because of griefers. But because Red Dead actually turned that fucking game into an anti-griefing paradise, I came back, stood back for much longer. In fact, here are actually my stats on GTA Online versus Red Dead. GTA versus Red Dead. I don't know if the time played counts the campaign as well. I'm pretty sure it probably does. So I don't know how much of this is campaign versus multiplayer time played, but you know, I have a higher level in GTA than in Red Dead. I've finished the campaign multiple times in all 3 endings in GTA. I haven't even finished the campaign in Red Dead, and somehow I have more hours played in this fucking game. Interesting. But nevertheless, there's a lot of fun to have. There's a lot of hours to be put into these games. If you wanted to just throw money into it to just get straight to the fun once again you've unlocked it and don't want to have to grind for all that money, then why not take the more convenient route? Especially if the newbies are little kids, because they're the most impressionable. Now again, if you, whoever you are out there, if you're a griefer, you're still an asshole. But griefer, grinder, newbie, or veteran player, if you want to say fuck it and spend money on the game, then go for it. That is your choice. I mean, if you're a veteran player of either game, most likely you're not spending money. You actually have money in the game. More so in Red Dead, because again, in GTA, you got all this shit that's constantly siphoning your money. But it's your choice. It is your choice. If you're doing it because you're giving in to the BS economy, you don't want to do all the grinding, that is your choice. Or maybe you don't grind. Maybe you actually enjoy the grind, but you just really, really want that specific item, and you just had it unlocked for a while. You just never had the chance to buy it. I mean, again, that is your choice. If you really want that new plane, new outfit, new whatever the fuck on Red Dead, or the new horse, and you could grind for the money, no problem. It's already unlocked. But you just want to treat yourself. Well, treat yourself, my man or my girl. Treat yourself, by all means. It's your money, spend it on what you want. But we shouldn't have to give into this BS just to have our fun. They shouldn't have to make the economy unfair in both of these games for us to earn our fun. It should be fun as we progress. And once we've got our money and unlocked a lot of stuff, there should be more stuff to do. At least in the case of Red Dead and GTA, there's tons of stuff to do. So I would love to do that. I would love to earn some of this stuff if I wasn't constantly having money siphoned from me, or having my mission, or job ruined by a griefer. But in GTA, griefers help push you guys to buy more shark cards. In Red Dead, they can't really do that. That strategy will not work. So they get what they can from those who will buy out of conveniency, because they want to treat themselves, or even because you want to support the developers. Can't forget that's an option. Even the griefers want to support the devs. And the griefers believe that the best way to support the devs is by buying shark cards and gold bars. Now, I've mentioned earlier that even the griefers themselves are probably not buying as much gold bars as they are shark cards. And that's, again, simply for the fact that there's lack of content in the game and the lack of special toys for griefers. Now, the special toys, griefers will be they'll throw money at Rockstars. I mean, straight up money go brrr. They'll throw it at Rockstars. at Rockstar. The grinders are going to be more, like I said, stubborn. In Red Dead, they don't mind as much either. Just there's not as much stuff for them to throw money at for it, like there is in GTA. Even then, they still tried to work with what they had. But of course, again, they couldn't push too hard against people because they were pushing people off the servers. So unfortunately, Rockstars had to nerf their main money-making tool because it was actually causing them to lose money. But in GTA, they will gladly let them run rampant because they truly believe that if they keep fucking with you guys, that you'll eventually buy a shark card. And that is very good for Rockstars because it means more business for them and more content for the rest of everybody else, even including the grinders that the griefers keep fucking with. You don't believe me? Hear it from one of the head griefers himself. A guy who literally had a straight up griefer versus grinder war with Professional and his whole fucking fan base and many other grinders. And again, I'm not even joking or exaggerating. There's literally a fucking video documentary on that griefer grinder war. Hear it from his mouth himself.
And for number 3, we got it increases shark card sales when you grief people. If it wasn't for us griefers, you guys wouldn't be getting DLCs because when people get grief, they tend to buy shark cards. And thanks to us, there's been good DLCs, and even possibly GTA 6 is going to get released sooner because of us.
Got him! Got him!
That clip came from a YouTuber by the name of XLZ, Liz, however the hell you pronounce that name, the #1 tryhard on YouTube. A self-proclaimed title, but maybe an earned one given that there is a documentary on the little griefer grinder war he started with his fan base versus Professional and his fan base. Now, I definitely do not agree with his type of content because his whole content, his whole channel is about nothing but griefing. And I didn't like giving him the support as is. But I did comment on the video, and I did say how he is right in the sense that I do believe that he believes he is supporting Rockstars by griefing, and that other griefers do believe they're supporting Rockstars by griefing themselves. Never mind the fact that they do spend money on shark cards themselves sometimes too. Or maybe they always do. I honestly don't know what the rate of shark card purchases from griefers are. And I definitely do not agree with his statement that griefers are the reason why we have gotten all this content from Rockstars. Rockstars has had these assets. Why do you think we haven't gotten any story DLC? What do you think all those story DLC assets went? Rockstars is not broke. They make enough money in microtransactions alone, never mind money they're probably still making from people still purchasing both their games and other games as well. And they put the bare minimum of resources and effort into making these online DLCs, because all they do is reuse the remaining assets that they had from story DLCs, and they put a minimum amount of effort and resources into these online DLCs because all they're doing is reusing vaulted story DLC assets as online DLC assets.
Apparently there were 3 different episodes for each of the characters. A zombie episode, an alien invasion episode, and an agent episode. If we take a look at the buildings, graffiti, and arena wars, a lot of this stuff looks like something out of a zombie universe. The gas station has been boarded up, there's signs everywhere talking about being infected, wearing masks, and staying away from each other. Kind of weird to see this in a post-2020 world. And GTA Online has always been adding alien-themed content. An alien survival, alien outfits, import-export even had an alien-themed floor you can install into your mod shop that gives us a look at what an alien episode might have looked like. But as cool as those might sound, the Agent episode was probably the most interesting one. And luckily enough, back in 2014, Rockstar accidentally included some leftovers in an update that were later found by FunMW2 and Wildbrick. These leftovers is an entire missions list with code names and even starting locations. The DLC is referred to as DLC_Agent Trevor in this mission list. So we do know for a fact that this would have been Trevor's episode, but the name is really interesting. Back in 2007, Rockstar teased an upcoming PS3 exclusive game titled Agent. The last time we heard about this game was back in 2009. Ever since then, Rockstar was quiet and everyone assumed the project was dead or in development hell like Duke Nukem. Because Rockstar kept updating the trademark for the Agent logo all the way up until 2018, and the Doomsday Heist came out at the very end of 2017. So I believe the reason Rockstar kept updating the Agent trademark wasn't because they were still working on the Agent game, but rather they decided to use the name and logo and possibly more for this GTA 5 episode. And there's actually an Agent Easter egg in GTA 5 story. When we steal the JB700 for Devin Weston, it says Agent on the license plate. This was most likely a hint or foreshadowing of this episode, considering Rockstar was working on single-player DLC before GTA 5 even released. Also, the entire storyline of the Doomsday Heist could have taken inspiration from Agent. The game is set during the Cold War and would have taken players into the world of counterintelligence, espionage, and political assassinations, according to a Rockstar press release. Rockstar never revealed any other details regarding Agent or the setting for Agent, besides the fact that it'll be set in the late 1970s during the Cold War. This means that Bogdan and the submarine plot in the Doomsday Heist could have quite literally been ripped from the Agent game they were working on.
Now, people have said before that if Rockstars was to charge for their story DLC, people would not mind paying for it. They wanted it that bad. But why would they put in a good amount of effort and resources into a story DLC pack that you can buy once, when they could reuse assets and release them bit by bit for free here and there and make more money over time from people buying shark cards to get those assets?
So you can cry all you want about the microtransactions, folks, but unless there's some major PR pushback, it ain't gonna change. Remember, if it's free, you're the product.
Now, some people have been asking for a quality of life update to the game so they can have better payouts in their games and not have to deal with griefers. But why would Rockstars do that when the whole point of them not giving you the best payout for your missions is so you're more likely to want to buy a shark card, especially if the griefers are preventing you from grinding in the first place? Nothing's really stopping you guys or preventing you from finishing your mission and playing the game in general. Even with the griefers, you guys will still play through and truck on. You're mad at the game for what it is, yet you keep playing it as is. And you think they're going to change the quality of online just because you guys keep complaining and making your rant videos? No, because you guys are still playing and sometimes paying. For as long as you guys keep playing and paying, they will not change jack shit. Clearly, you are showing them that they don't have to do anything to chase you guys away. You will always be here playing regardless. Your actions speak louder than words.
Grinders have ruined GTA Online. Yes, I know, that's a rather bold statement to make, but actually I genuinely do think grinders and their mindset regarding playing the game, amongst other similar types of GTA fans and players, have actually negatively impacted the game far worse than even the worst griefers. And not only am I saying this wholeheartedly, and not to give a epic Ben Shapiro hypothetical argument, hypothetical, I genuinely do think this is the case. Okay, the two pillars of good game design are non-existent within GTA Online. There's little to no story content and mediocre to outright awful gameplay for the majority of the content. So, with all this being said, what exactly keeps players coming back and quote-unquote enjoying this content? Why do players subject themselves to, by their own admission, playing boring, tedious, repetitive, and in some instances, outright broken content? They want to earn money. Yes. The never-ending pursuit in GTA Online for things to buy, such as a new but slightly faster method of earning money, or hundreds of cars they'll buy and never use after purchasing them. Since you're not grinders, you're a PvP player, or a racer, or whatever, who's only engaging with grinding because it's a barrier to entry for your actual preferred activity you actually find fun. This video, however, is targeted at those that grind for the sake of grinding. For those that only play the game and becomes obsessed only to see some random arbitrary number go up slightly every time they sell a shipment or complete a heist. Do you know who else plays the game and is obsessed with a arbitrary number that goes up slightly every time they perform an activity? Do you know who else only cares about increasing a number at any cost, even impacting their own fun? Griefers? Okay. You may be saying, fine, that's fair, but griefers harm other players. Grinding money doesn't harm anyone. You are right. Grinding doesn't hurt any players in the short term. But the thing is, whilst griefers may annoy and ruin the fun for a player in the short term, something that can be overcome easily by just opening a new lobby and starting the grinding process again. And let's just say, as an example for someone whose cargo that's just been griefed, you can literally just start the process all over again. Buy new crates, let your nightclub restock, and no overall harm has been done. But the thing is, a grinder arguably ruins the fun for a wider range of players in a much more harmful way in the long term, in GTA Online and beyond, by letting Rockstar get away with awful content. Let me ask you this, when a new DLC comes out, when a new update is released, showcasing a new heist for example, what is the first thing a grinder thinks of? Is it, will the gameplay be fun? Will the story content be compelling? Will we get a cool new story arc to follow? Will we get a fun new activity to partake in? No. It's none of these things. The first thing a grinder thinks, regardless of whether the DLC is fun or not, whether or not they'll enjoy it, whether or not the DLC has even been made to a high quality, is how much money they can earn from it.
Now I just want to make myself very clear to those who genuinely enjoy the game for what it is and its issues, or don't see any problem with it at all and don't mind supporting Rockstars via shark cards. That is great, and play to your heart's content. Do whatever you want with your time, your money, and your controller. But I am speaking to those who keep making their rant videos and complaining to Rockstars while still playing the game. If you're getting tired of the game to the point where you don't enjoy it anymore, or you're just enjoying it less than when you used to, then why are you still playing it? And that's a genuine question. I'm not saying that to be an asshole. If some of you out there are genuinely enjoying the game less or just don't enjoy it anymore, then just either stop and play something else, or just take a break and go do something else. Take your mind off and relax for a bit before you hop right back into it. Now I know you gotta keep up with it to keep earning to get what you want. You gotta keep up with the grind. But don't force yourself to keep doing something that's not bringing you any fun and enjoyment to it, when the whole point of playing video games is for fun. If it still brings you some sort of enjoyment, just take a break. Regardless if you still care or don't, either quit complaining and keep enjoying the game, or stop playing it altogether if it doesn't bring you joy anymore. Or like I said, just take a break. You don't have to keep playing it 24/7. Nobody's forcing you to play the game. But what I do want you guys to take from this is the totality of the situation and the circumstances with Rockstars and Take-Two when it comes to GTA 5 and RDR Online. They're trying to do the bare minimum as much as possible while trying to gain the most they can as much as possible while doing so. Now, whether or not Rockstars is doing this by their own choice or their hand is being forced by Take-Two Interactive, I believe this is the absolute reason why we haven't gotten any GTA Story DLC at all, and why we won't be hearing any news on GTA 6 anytime soon. They're barely working on it. They're trying to put the bare minimum into everything they produce while still making profit, simply by reusing story DLC assets for GTA Online. And in the case of RDR Online, since they don't have a lot of spare assets to just throw in the game, you don't see a lot of content updates for RDR like you do for GTA. Now, this is not to say we're not going to get a GTA 6 at all, but we're most likely not going to get it anytime soon. However, I also believe there's a good chance we may have to accept the fact we may never get a GTA 6 at all, simply for the fact that Rockstars would rather make more money through shark cards with GTA Online. I can't say for sure because that's up to Rockstars and Take-Two Interactive. Needless to say, we're definitely not getting any story DLC for GTA at all, and probably never will for RDR. As for RDR Online, well, if they do have anything planned at all, they're still going to have to make their DLCs by scratch. And they're still probably going to try to put the bare minimum of resources as much as possible. We may get some more RDR Online DLC eventually, but it's going to be a while. As for those who enjoy and support Rockstars, well, let's just say your support might not be making it to most of the devs. At least not until their big Christmas break with their big Christmas bonus, assuming Rockstars doesn't try to lay off their dev team right before Christmas. A lot of AAA dev teams are not only doing the bare minimum for their games, but doing the bare minimum of treatment for their workers as well. And Rockstars ain't no better. And since I've been going on over how Rockstars has been doing the bare minimum for a good minute, let's finally go over the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition. Rockstar sure as hell put the bare minimum into that game, to the point where they didn't really do anything at all but test and approve the game in its state at the time of launch. And due to Rockstar's refusing to give refunds, I think I can say for sure that Rockstars was trying to make the maximum amount of profits on that project and hoping you guys would just go along with it. Now, I'm not going to go over every little bit of detail of information with you guys because I'm pretty sure we all know what an absolute shit show the launch was. Virtually nobody got their copies on launch day. The original versions were all taken off their digital storefronts, even the mobile count supports. Rockstars actively refused refunds to people. They were basically trying to run off with everybody's money, and eventually did re-release the digital versions on PC, but only on their Rockstar launcher and nowhere else. That pretty much sums it up, right? And honestly, I really do feel sorry for those people because they spent their money expecting at least a decent product out of this, and they got fucked over. And for those who genuinely tried to get a refund, they weren't allowed one. And Rockstars is probably going to get away with it, and they're just going to have to try to make do with what they got until they fully fix the games. And I gotta say, I myself, for a second, was tempted to buy the trilogy. But for once, I'm glad I was broke. Still am. At first, some people were comparing the launch to No Man's Sky's launch, but then realized that's unfair, because No Man's Sky was a bit of a big, ambitious title that needed a little bit more time in the oven to finish. And eventually, they did fix the issues, and it became the game it was promised to be. Then people were comparing it to CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077. And people said it was still unfair to compare it to that. To a $70, 70 gigabyte, a bit more after the updates probably, and still more to come, 70 gigabyte plus game, big ambitious project. And once again, it just needed some more time in the oven. But they didn't want to halt the launch because they wanted to meet those holiday sales, just like Rockstars with the Definitive Edition. However, what they did with the Definitive Edition is way worse, because these games are 18 to 21 years old each apart for each game. And for a AAA studios like Rockstars, this shouldn't be an issue to remaster. Except we all know it wasn't done by Rockstars. It was done by Grove Street Studios. However, Rockstars are the one that apparently tested and approved of the game in its state at launch. Well, barely tested. Now, Grove Street Studios. A small dev team of 20 to 21 people. But they've been around for quite a while. They are formerly known as Warhammer Studios, and apparently they have a very bad track record of remaking, remastering, and reporting games in the past. Now, let's just assume that Grove Street Studios was under some time constraints, and let's pretend they didn't have a lot of failures under their belt. There's still no excuse because Rockstar is a AAA studio with enough funding and enough resources that they could have easily provided Grove Street Studios to finish their product. Even with a small studio of 20 to 21 people, I still don't believe there's any excuse for the state of the definitive edition then and now for its horrible launch. Again, ignoring the fact that they have a lot of failures under their belts. 20 people is considered the minimum for a small AAA dev studio. I repeat, the minimum for a small studio to be considered a AAA studio. And since Grove Street Studios has worked on in the past and continues to work on AAA titles, they are technically a AAA studio. A small AAA studio, but a AAA studio nonetheless. And many of our favorite AAA studios have started off with a few of like 10 to even 20 people. Their team size will grow eventually. And for a project like this should have been a small project for them. Because they still have the equipment and the resources of a AAA studio. Especially with a bigger AAA studio behind them, hiring them to make their product. Just to make it clear, in case anybody gets confused by there, I'm referring to Rockstars. Just so there's no confusion. They should have had everything they needed, as long as Rockstars weren't putting them under any time constraints, or at the very least provided some extra resources and manpower for them to finish the damn game. There should have been no reason for this horrible launch. It should have been, as promised, a full remastered definitive edition. And no, they cannot even use the epidemic as an excuse, because even if they had to work from home, they should have still managed to make a complete and proper product. Because if a bunch of fucking modders can remaster this content for themselves personally, and for other players in the comfort of their own home, with their own personal PC for free with no funding, then there's no goddamn reason a small AAA dev team shouldn't have been able to do it themselves. Now, whether it was one person or a small group of people, modders have remastered the original trilogy better than Rockstars ever did years ago. I'm talking about like at least a few years ago, maybe a little bit further. And they did it from the comfort of their own homes with their own personal computers, with no funding, making no profits. I mean, maybe some of them out there, if they were a YouTuber or some other form of content creator, they did get some donations from their fans, possibly. But that would have all went into the modding project, and none of it would have been profits. Not only have modders remastered the original trilogy better than Rockstars could have ever, but they've been adding more content to GTA 5 story mode and online more than Rockstars, and even been adding more content to the original trilogy, which is, I'm not sure if Rockstars can really do that on, well, at least console. I mean, maybe they could if they really, really wanted to, but what would there be a need for that? Whereas when it comes to mods, it's just, you're just doing random shit and trying it out. But they've literally added a multiplayer to San Andreas, the original San Andreas. Now that's saying something. Again, from the comfort of their own homes, no funding, their own personal computers. But yet, Rockstars can't remaster a fucking 3 old games. Grove Street can't remaster 3 old games. And instead of just working with the modders and trying to work something out, maybe they would make some of that shit in the mod for GTA 5, I don't know, official features. Instead, they send them DMCA notices or outright straight up sue them over mods. They really don't want people out there to know that there's free content for GTA 5 that they can't profit on. But unfortunately, the more they tried to censor the modders, the more people noticed. The more the headlines started to notice.
Absolutely pathetic. For the last few months, Take-Two has ramped up their efforts to attack fan modders, brutally destroying the most passionate people attempting to create new content where Rockstar seems unwilling or unable to. They've gone out of their way to attack those who have spent years of their lives for free creating new experiences for Rockstar fans, often making the games Rockstar still sells to this day actually playable or worth buying for modern systems. In light of this, you'd think Rockstar at the PlayStation Showcase would want to demonstrate that they can fill the hole that's been left by these people. Show that.
So I guess that Take-Two and Rockstar are just enjoying the bad press right now. And how did that story end? With really crappy ports that the modding community did a better job with. And on top of that now, with these really buggy ports that they took down the original versions of the games to buy, so they're kind of forcing you to buy the remastered trilogy. They're also doing DMCA takedowns, which is not profit-driven. It's just a really, really passionate community. I don't understand why. Look at Valve. Look at how they handled ports and how they handled mods and things like that. And that's what people love about PC gaming, is the modding community. Go look at, for example, Brutal Doom on PC. It's a mod that was made. It's a modification of Doom. It is one of the best first-person shooters I've ever played. And it's a mod. That is the magic of PC gaming. And it's not, look, piracy is not the same thing as modding. And it's totally different, okay? Look at what happened with Counter-Strike. That started off as a Half-Life mod, and look how big that got. I always bring that up as an example because it's a perfect example and how Valve embraces the modding community and realizes there's money to be made there. I'm surprised Bethesda hasn't tapped the shoulder of the developer of Brutal Doom and said, we want to make some money off of you. Can we work with you, and then we could license the Brutal Doom mod and put it on every platform imaginable? Well, I don't know why they're not doing that. I don't know why.
Now, when I first heard the news, I was absolutely dumbfounded. And I honestly don't know what to say other than I'm just disgusted with Rockstar's behavior and the way they're treating the fan base and innocent modders. Especially with how lawsuit trigger happy Take-Two and Rockstars seem to have been lately. I personally don't think I'll be financially supporting them anytime soon, let alone being online on either of their games. More on that in a bit, in my final thoughts. I'm honestly just annoyed by this. This is like Nintendo levels of lawsuit trigger happy. I'm not sure if any of you remember when Nintendo tried to sue, I think it was a little kid, over some fan art, a literal fucking drawing. So that's what I mean by Nintendo levels of lawsuit trigger happy. Now, given that Nintendo is a Japanese studios, and given the culture of Japan when it comes to personal IPs and their copyright laws, it kind of makes sense why Nintendo are the way they are with their IP and their copyright. Not to say that it's okay or that, I defend it or anything, but just looking at where they came from and how they treat their IPs over there, it makes sense why Nintendo is the way they are. And again, when it comes to mods, they're not very much welcome on console. Now, when it comes to AAA dev studios not liking mods or modders, this is nothing new, especially with Rockstars. But for Rockstars to get to this extreme and go to this extent is just fucking ridiculous and appalling. And it's not just modders too. As I said earlier, they tried to sue Hazelight Studios over the name of their game, It Takes Two, because of Big Daddy Take-Two Interactive. And not just Hazelight Studios, but they try to sue an energy drink company as well, with an energy drink by the name of Rockstar. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it. I have yet to try it myself. And it's not like Rockstars had the idea for their own energy drink or anything. And just to make sure, I double checked their website to see what other merchandise they have other than just their video game lineup under their belts. On their website, they apparently have Rockstar themed phone cases, keyboard hand mats, caps and apparel, and RDR branded candles. I'm not shitting you, RDR branded candles. But nowhere on their merch store or their website did they say, had they ever or will they ever have fucking energy drinks or any sort of refreshments whatsoever. Now, I'm not an expert on copyright or trademark laws or anything like that. And what I do know is what I've learned from Google and YouTube, and it's primarily on American copyright and trademark law. And what I do know when it comes to American copyright and trademark law is that when it comes to a brand and product name, it's very specific down to the punctuation for each and every individual character. That's not even including what the product may be and what said brand or corporation may produce. So basically what I'm trying to say is Rockstars cannot sue It Takes Two or Rockstar Energy Drink over their names alone under American copyright and trademark laws. And before anybody says anything, yes, I'm aware that Rockstars is a British studio, but they're owned by an American publishing company, and they're trying to sue American companies, an American studio, and an American energy drink. So this would be under American copyright and trademark laws. Basically, even with the little bit of knowledge that I know this lawsuit is absolute bullshit and will most likely be thrown out the window. As a big professional studio that has the ability to get the big professional lawyers, they should have fucking known this. I don't understand how a big professional corporation like Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive can be this foolish and just straight up fucking dumb. And that's really all I have to say on that matter. I don't know what more I can say without going into a full-blown rant with how fucking idiotically dumb this company just is right now. Like, seriously, Rockstars and Take-Two? I'm just a regular motherfucker on the internet, and I can understand these fucking lawsuits are bullshit. You think a court's not gonna see through your bullshit? Give me a fucking break. Now on to my final thoughts, and after that, the outro, because I'm winded. Now, as I said before, from this point on, I'm going to try avoiding to financially support Rockstar Studios in any way, form, or fashion as much as I possibly can. And I say that because I do want to go back and replay a lot of their old titles. But I'm probably going to have to find my alternatives in finding and interacting with those games without giving them any financial support. I mean, I will give myself the exception in the case of the Xbox Pass, but so far they've only put San Andreas, the definitive edition, on Xbox Pass, and I'm going to have to wait till they fix that game up first. Now, I've finished San Andreas, but I've never gotten a chance to finish Vice City, and I've never played GTA 3. I've also never finished RDR 1 like I never finished RDR 2. And I've actually never had a chance to play Bully or the Manhunt series. So, whenever I do get the opportunity, it'll either be when I borrow it from a friend, buy it somewhere else where Rockstars can't get their hands on that money, or the Xbox Pass, which will be the only exception where I guess I'll say fuck it and let them get the money. It'll only be chump change anyways. And that's assuming they do put other games or the rest of the trilogy on the Xbox Pass. And as for Red Dead Redemption 2, well, a buddy of mine has been letting me play his copy, so I'm going to take the time and the opportunity to finish up the campaign. And as for online, well, I've officially gotten bored with online. I'm tired of doing the same thing over and over and over again, and I honestly don't care to unlock the other roles. I was having fun with the bounty hunter role for a while, but I don't know what I'm saving up for. There's nothing in the game I really want. I just don't care to unlock the other roles. There's nothing else I really want to do. So what I'm going to do in RDR Online is I'm just going to fuck around and cause chaos down to my last dollar and my last bullet. Then I'm just going to sign off for good and enjoy the rest of the campaign. And as for the rest of you, I'm going to make myself very clear this one last time. I don't care what you do with your time, your energy, your money, or your controller. Do you and do what you want that you find fun and makes you happy. But if you're disgusted with Rockstar's behavior as well and just can't support them anymore, then I really recommend do not pay them on anything any further, and sure as hell don't log on anymore to GTA Online or even RDR Online, at least until they get their shit together and straighten up and stop treating the fan base like shit. Not only vote with your wallet, but if you can't vote with your wallet, vote with your connection. And do not log on to the game till Rockstars straightens up. Now, I'm not saying stop playing the game altogether, unless, of course, you're tired of Rockstars and you're tired of the game. Then, do yourself a favor and play something else. But if you still want to continue to play the game, then for just a little while, for a temporary measure, stop playing the game and make it very clear to Rockstars that you want them to straighten up. But if you really don't care, then, well, that's your call. That's just my personal advice. And after this, you can take it or leave it. Do what you want with it. So if you still want to keep supporting them and you just don't give a fuck about anything that happened today, then do you and keep enjoying the game. I can't force you to do anything. But I am going to leave you guys with this one last final clip. And I feel like this clip really generalizes how I feel about the way AAA studios have been acting lately and how we should react to their behavior and their poor quality content. With that said, after this clip, I'm going to go into my outro. And if you decide to leave now or after that clip, well, thanks for even making it this far. I really do appreciate it. And make sure to leave a like or even a dislike on the way out. Now, this clip is from a guy reviewing the Cowboy Bebop Netflix adaptation. But again, I really feel like what he has to say definitely goes for GTA and even RDR and Rockstars, as well as any other game, movie, TV show, or any other franchise you can think of.
But regardless of their choices, there will still be other studios and creators who either have yet to learn or will never learn. While that might seem frustrating from the outside looking in, we cannot allow our own past and memories to speak louder than our present-day common sense. I was just plain pissed off while I was watching the show for this episode, but seeing as how everything broke down the way it did, I looked back on that day spent being pissed off and I realized it was just another waste. The only benefit to my anger goes to Netflix. Whether I rage online or I start a petition or even make any public remark, everything is engagement, and engagement is profit. Of course, it's easier to see now how futile my anger was now that the series has been cancelled, but even if it wasn't, it doesn't make it any less true. And besides, there's still other reboots, remakes, reimaginings, prequels, sequels, midquels, spin-offs, and board game versions of everything to come.
It says we will all be immortalized as content.
Bebop was cancelled, but the perpetual content machine continues to churn on. If you haven't had a nostalgic reboot happen to you, it will, Just give it time. And in a world where even discussing it on social media ends up profiting the rights holders, what is there to do? Well, you got two options. You either make your peace and enjoy what you can, or you disengage. The decision is yours to make, and all you have to do is follow through. No matter how powerful these media conglomerates seem, and they are, they get that power from the audience. Us. It might seem a tough pill to swallow to completely disengage if you're of that mindset, and the fear of missing out can be exacerbated by anger. But anger is just like every other emotion. It's completely, naturally human. It's easy to be angry when it seems like something new is disrespectful to a cherished memory of yours, but at the end of the day, if those memories are truly cherished, then there is very little that can be done today that would affect it. Is Netflix Bebop a bad show? I would argue an emphatic yes. Does its existence taint my feelings on the anime? Well, if I let it, yeah, but I'm not planning to allow it to have that kind of power over me. And hopefully, as we all continue to get older, we learn what we do and don't have power over. And with that comes a sense of peace and acceptance. We have little power over what studios decide to greenlight and produce, or how they go about doing it. But we do have the power to check ourselves and not let bad shows or bad movies ruin our peace of mind, and we certainly don't have to make their job easier and bitch about it online and feed the engagement beast. And unless everyone pulls a George Lucas, you will always have the originals to look back on and remind you why you loved them in the first place.
Alright guys, that's finally the end of the video, and I am just beat. Between working on this video and just, well, I don't work, but I do keep the house clean, and we're preparing for a Christmas get-together, me and my family, so I'm just beat, and I still have to finish cleaning the house after I finish putting this video together. Literally just have to add this fucking outro, and I still gotta sweep. Anyways, I am trying to have this video out by Christmas, so if you're watching this on or around Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year to anybody watching. And thank you so fucking much for making it this far into the video, if you have made it this far into the video. I mean, if you're listening to this outro, then clearly you have. Thank you. Even if you didn't like the video, fucking thank you. I really do appreciate it. And if you're watching this sometime in the future, Merry belated Christmas, Happy belated holidays, and depending on how far you are watching this in the future, Happy belated New Year, and Happy holidays times 2 if you're already celebrating one of the other holidays right after December. With that said, like I said, I'm beat. I need to finish this up, wrap this up, and go finish cleaning. I will link all the videos that I sourced in my video down below, as well as leaving a link to Professional's channel and Dark Space's channel, because they were my main sources for my research, even though I didn't reference any of Dark Space's videos in this video. And listen, once again, take it or leave it with everything I said. This is what I truly believe, given all this evidence and the points I've made. This is why I truly believe we didn't get any story DLC and won't be getting GTA 6 soon. I honestly hope we still get it. And if we still do, I'll say fuck it, and I'll still pay for that game and try out that game. Oh god, I'm beat. But until then, like I said, I'm gonna try to avoid financially supporting Rockstars till they get their shit together. And if they do come out with GTA 6 anytime soon, then hopefully that will show they did get their shit together. And if it has an online mode, I'm probably not even going to bother. I need to end this fucking video already. One last time, Merry Christmas or belated Christmas, Merry Holidays or Happy Holidays, or Happy Holidays or belated holidays, and Happy New Year or belated New Year, and depending on how far you're watching this in the future, Happy Holidays times 2. Please leave your comments and thoughts down below in the comments section, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more of my content in the future. It's free, and if you end up not liking my content, you can unsubscribe later in the future. If you didn't enjoy, then please, please, please make sure to leave a dislike on the way out with a comment telling me why. If not, at the very least, the dislike will still be appreciated. Any and all interaction is good interaction for my channel in the algorithm. So any and all interaction, even dislikes, and maybe even nitpicks, will be appreciated. I would prefer some criticism on my first video essay rather than actual nitpicks, but hey, a comment's a comment. Interaction is still interaction. That's good for my channel in the algorithm, and I'll take it or leave it. I would really appreciate it if you did leave a comment, though. With that said, I'm exhausted. Hyperchaotic out. Have a good one. Peace.
And I'll say this, Rockstar, you are no longer my favorite developer. You have been my favorite developer for so many years, but this is the last straw. What you've done with the GTA Trilogy, and how you stabbed the Red Dead community in the back, that's it. You are no longer my favorite developer. No longer.
What?